Hey everyone, Michelle back with another spooky Reddit read. Can't end on number 13 because that's just unlucky, right? So, episode number 14, and I got something a little bit different for you guys. So, I'm excited to read this one. So, here we go. So, this story is titled Shapeshifters slash Shadow Balls. So, it immediately caught my attention. This story was posted a couple years ago, and it's from the poster's childhood. So, kind of interesting one to share. They're still hanging on to this memory. So, obviously, this experience meant something to them. This is a story I've told many times over the years, but I've never posted it anywhere. Okay, so this was an experience shared between me and one of my older brothers. I was 12, he was 15, and I am now 30 years old. But this experience has stayed with me. Here we go, bear with me. For some foundation on the story, my brother had gotten angry at my mom, not ordering him Wendy's for dinner, so he wanted to rebel, and he stormed out of the house, and I just wanted to follow. We lived in a nice and quiet suburb a few miles outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was summer night, maybe 9:30 or 10 p.m. The neighborhood was safe, so it wasn't unusual for us to take night walks from time to time. We walked the neighborhood elementary school and that I was actually attending at the time. The walk was about a mile. We get to the school and we climb up on the top of the roof of a newly constructed blue and yellow playground that was maybe 20 feet tall. The playground sat atop a hill. At the base of the hill was a soccer field enclosed with a running track. We would come here once a week and just hang out. Anyway, we were there for a few minutes when out of seemingly thin air there appeared this three humanoid-looking figures dressed all in black standing out on the soccer field in a triangle formation, one in the front, two in the back. The one in the front seemed to have broader shoulders than the other two, and we both could sense that they were watching us and that they had their attention on us. These things were not there when we arrived, and we were both seeing the same thing. The moon was out and shining strong, so we could see these things even in the dark of night. What happens next is where it starts to get weird. These things disappeared for a few minutes and then reappeared closer to the base of the hill. And then they disappeared and reappeared again further away from the base. They again did their act again, but reappeared in the shape of what seemed like animals. I remember thinking they looked like grazing horses. I should mention they were always completely void of motion, always like statues, whether in humanoid or in animal form. Finally, they disappeared and reappeared again, but now they were moving and shaped like black balls of energy, darker than night. I've always said they look like gigantic roly-poly bugs, probably the size of large dogs. All three were moving at different paces, but were all relatively slow. No animal or person would move at this pace or with this cadence that these things had. At some point, we climbed down to the ground and stood at the top of the hill to get a better view. We stood there for about 5 to 10 minutes, and these things moved from the field across the track and began to crawl, ooh, that's spooky, up the hill towards us. One of them got within 20 feet of us, and we decided to run home, as I probably would have too at that age. Geez. Before we could find out what they finally were and what they wanted, they ran home. Has anyone heard or experienced something like this? I've heard of skinwalkers, but those accounts I've read don't seem to resemble me and my brother's account. Thanks for reading, and thanks for listening. So let's talk about this. All right, guys, now I need your 2 cents. What do you think about this story? Yes, the poster was very young, but after twice that age now, he's still holding on to this memory. And they shared it together and apparently corroborate that. I can't talk. So if they have the same experience, it's hard to say that it didn't happen. And they were old enough. I feel like they should be able to remember experiences because I had many experiences as a child with paranormal, and I remember them pretty clearly. So I do think that that's possible. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this, though. Do you believe that these were shapeshifters, some sort of orb or energy like that, maybe? Um, did they have negative intention or were they safe to be around them? I probably went to at that. I mean, if I was especially the 12-year-old, I would have ran home probably at the point where they started getting closer and closer because it's almost like they were testing or challenging to see how much they would allow. But they seem very curious in nature when these descriptions come up. Nothing super intense hits me, but I'm honestly not sure what I think this was. Was it a spirit, skinwalker, orb energy, shapeshifter? There's a lot of things that come to mind and make me think here. So leave your thoughts down in the comments, please, and let me know what you thought of this story. Please, please, please hit that repost for me so that these can get out to people who are interested in the paranormal as well. And thank you, as always, for listening. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.